So I had to ask you, what is your favorite junk food?
I mean, I love Taco Bell. I am a fast food. I grew up having fast food. I'm a fast food. And of course, it's the most addicting thing in the world. So very addicted to fast food. I was 18, so I was living in North Carolina at the time. We had moved from Ohio to North Carolina for my dad's job when I was 16. So I was prepping to move to LA and obviously needed to have money to do so. So was trying to find a job. My anxiety at that point really stemmed from, oh my God, this is so not what I want to be doing, but it's the means to make it happen. So the anxiety came from, this is absolutely not where I want to be, but I know I have to be here because I need money. I have to make money. So the anxiety was like, don't have money, need it, have crippling anxiety and can't hold a job, but I need a job. Middle child, 2 sisters. My parents are happily married after 30 plus years, so very happy to have them as beautiful, loving role models in my life. I was the kid who was very stereotypical performer kid, did the theater, did at dancing classes, loved recitals, I performed in front of when we went on big family vacations, I would make my cousin sing with me in front of the family. I was that kid, and it was terrible at sports. That kind of this kid is meant to be an artist for sure. Crying is the most beautiful thing you can do. I encourage people to cry. I cry all the time, and I think it's the most healthy expression of how you're feeling. And I sometimes, I just could have been told, you can cry. There's no shame in how you're feeling, and also you don't need to always be justifying it, because I think I was constantly trying to come up with reasons why rather than just being accepted for what it was. I have anxiety, I have depression. Okay, but why? Well, sometimes there isn't. Having my first panic attacks and not knowing what this feeling was, how I could escape it, what resources I had. I was too young to really be going on the internet looking for help elsewhere. I just really had my parents and I guess the kids around me at school who had no idea what to tell me or how to help. My friends at the time, it's not like they got it. They just didn't. So I was so isolated, and I'm happy that now this is a space we're moving into where we are saying, feel your feelings, and that they're justified. You don't need to defend yourself. I'm like, damn, that's the kind of environment I want to raise my future kids in. I was on a very big healing journey 2 years ago, which is how this all really started. And the biggest thing I kept reading was feel your feelings. Sit there and let the feeling be in your body. Let it flow through you. Observe it. Don't judge it. Let it happen as it needs to happen. Let it flow through you. And so that's what the universe or God or whomever said, hey, do you want to go to Earth for an incredibly short amount of time, like a blip, and experience every emotion that you could possibly feel as a human? You get to have all these experiences: love, heartache, anxiety, joy, euphoria, whatever, all of it. Do you want to do that? Yeah, I do. And so when I am feeling these intense feelings, it's sort of like a reality check to step outside and say, although this is a very uncomfortable, painful feeling, it's quite beautiful that I have the capacity to experience it and be the person who always has to have friends around or always needs to be doing something. I don't want that. That's not the identity that I want. I want to be able to be okay by myself. And that's a really hard thing to do.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, how do you do that?
As Lili Reinhart today, who are you beyond those things right now?
It's a process for me of I'm trying to take it day by day, because I overwhelm myself by trying to fix it all right away. I'm a very all or nothing person, and I'm a very compulsive person. Like once I find out what's wrong, Gotta have a solution immediately. I don't want to wait for time. I don't want to, that's the worst when people say, just give it time. No, I don't want to do that. I would like to do it right now.
Yeah.
I don't have the answers to who really am I outside of my fight or flight mode, and who am I outside of being an actor. I don't really have the answers to those questions, but just even saying that out loud makes me feel like I'm closer to figuring it out.
Rather than who am I was who do I want to be? So what I realized was we're trying to figure out who we are rather than create who we are.
Yeah.
And we do this as humans. We go into finding and seeking rather than creating and being.
Ever since I can remember, every time I've seen a shooting star, blown out birthday candles, my wish always has been, I want to be happy. And my intention to find true happiness and peace with myself.
What is the best advice you've ever received?
I will say my dad always told me growing up, find a job that makes you happy. Have a career in something that makes you happy. It makes the world of a difference.
What is the worst advice you've ever heard or received?
Probably don't cry.
Something special that your mom did for you when you called her all those times, something that you remember that stood out?
I think just her telling me that she would be there whenever I needed her. Sometimes just hearing that is so calming.
If you could create one law in the world that everyone had to follow, what would it be?
One law?
Yeah.
The law that I would create is you are not allowed to tell another human being what they can and cannot feel.